another video. Today, I'm really excited to share with you one of my favorite ways to modify multiplayer games of EDH or Commander, and that is Planechase. I have here a deck of Planechase cards from the Planechase anthologies, and there are a couple of ways to play this format, but I will just show you what we do in my play group, which I think from a deck building standpoint doesn't technically follow the rules, but doesn't really matter for us. We're just pretty casual about it. But yeah, you can see from this deck box it definitely gets a lot of wear. So we do have this broken up a bit. I will show you all the cards here, but in my playgroup we have broken out a lot of the cards that sort of slow the game down, and we don't really use those ones. We prefer to have our Planechase experience either speed up the games or add a good element of chaos so that we can chain through more games in one sitting. Or if we've been playing a couple games regularly, then we can break out Planechase and then get through maybe one last game quickly at the end of the night. If you are not familiar with what these cards do or what this is, it's basically another layer that you can kind of add on to regular games of Magic the Gathering. So we use this for EDH, and we just use the one deck that is shared by the whole table. At the beginning of the game, the deck will be face down, and the player who goes first will flip over the top card of the deck, and that will put us on a plane. There will be a passive ability. For example, this one is Shiv from Dominaria, and the passive ability is that all creatures have red. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So all of your creatures have fire breathing. And then during their turn, that player can roll a special die. The die roll happens at sorcery speed, and that'll do a couple things. The die looks like this, and it is blank on 4 sides. It has a planeswalker symbol on one side. When they roll this, they will planeswalk away from the plane, which means they just flip the next card. Or they can roll the chaos symbol, and that will coordinate to whatever ability is next to the chaos symbol on the plane. So in this case, whenever you roll chaos, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. So that's pretty good. Your first die roll per turn is free, and then you can roll an additional time at the cost of 1 mana per each roll afterward, meaning your second roll costs 1 mana, your third roll costs 2, fourth costs 3, etc. like that. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Sometimes people want to get off of a plane really quickly, so they'll be rolling, trying to get that planeswalker symbol. In some cases, you want to try and roll the chaos, but it's kind of a risk. Like, will you accidentally roll to planeswalk when you're trying to hit chaos? So yeah, it can be really fun. There is one other type of card in here to cover. Okay. When you planeswalk, you may hit a phenomenon, which is just a card that has one effect and then you keep planeswalking. It is a step that you could hit in between when you're going from one plane to another. So, for example, this one is Chaotic Ether. When you encounter Chaotic Ether, each blank roll of the planar die is a chaos roll until a player planeswalks from a plane. So, there's another one. So if we hit that, and then we came to the next plane while we're here on Academy at Teleria West, every time we roll and hit blank, we're actually going to discard our hand. So, seems like a bit of a detriment, but with the passive ability, you're actually just drawing back up to 7, so maybe that's in your best interest. But yeah, could be something like that. The other one that we hit, for example, was reality shaping. When you encounter reality shaping, starting with you, each player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield, and then you planeswalk away. So little things like that can happen as you are trying to cross from plane to plane. And yeah, it is really, really fun. I'm sure you can tell, like, these cards are really worn. We use them all the time. And we also let folks pick which die they want. Some might feel a little more comfortable with our small die. Some want the really big, pretty one. Yeah, a lot of fun. But, yeah, I thought I would show you through this deck. There's a lot of cards here, so I won't read through every ability on each card, but let's flip through them and have a look. We have Shiv from Dominaria. We have Tazim from Zendikar. Creatures can't block. That's an interesting one. We have Velisvel from Lorwyn. Nea from Alara, Horizon Bows from Pyrulia, we have Ellerin Wilds from Chandelar. Tend to spend a lot of time on this one because it is it's like a monoflare plane, and then the chaos basically shuts down a player until you planeswalk, so it's a little risky to try and planeswalk from this one. Plus, usually in EDH, people appreciate having a monoflare effect, so yeah, this one sees a lot of face time. Yeah, we have Bant from Alara. All creatures have exalted. Glimmervoid Basin from Mirrodin. We've got the Great Forest from Lorwyn. Really great one for my Doran the Siege Tower EDH deck. Really want to try and roll chaos on this one. We've got Immersturm from Vala. We've got the Kilnspire District from Ravnica. The Chaotic Ether phenomenon. The Reality Shaping phenomenon. Academy at Teleria West from Dominaria. Another phenomenon. Mutual Epiphany. Everyone draws 4 cards. Really nice. We've got Nar Isle from Wildfire. Spatial Merging phenomenon. Windriddle Palaces from Belenon. This one is really interesting. Players play with the top card of their library revealed, and you may play the top card of any player's library. And then Chaos just cycles the top card into the graveyard. We've got Stensia from Innistrad. We have Kroza from Dominaria. All creatures get +2/+2. Roll Chaos, and you can add Wooburg to your mana pool. We've got Orzhova from Ravnica. We have the Talon Gates from Dominaria. Let's use suspend cards. The Aether Flues from Iquitana. Takenuma from Kamigawa. an interplanar tunnel phenomenon. Lets you pick which plane you go to next from the top 5 planes. Feeding Grounds from Muruganda. Sokenzan from Kamigawa. All creatures get +1/+1 and have haste. Pretty dangerous. Karasha Foothills from Mongseng. Undercity Reaches from Ravnica. We have Grixis from Alara. Very spooky looking. Bloodhill Bastion from Equilor. Selesnya Loft Gardens from Ravnica. Timber City from Kinshala. Makes every land into a pain land. We've got Isle of Vesuva from Dominaria. Cliffside Market from Marcadia. You get to trade life totals with your opponents, and you can switch out some of your cards with your opponent's cards as well. Llanowar from Dominaria. I just love how this one looks. Grand Ossuary from Ravnica. Turi Island from Creature spells cost 2 less to cast. Very nice. Otaria from Dominaria. We've got a Stronghold Furnace from Wrath. We've got Panopticon from Mirrodin. Everyone draws an extra card, and you can roll Chaos to draw a card as well. This is one we like to try and stay on, but of course people are always trying to roll Chaos, so one of those very high-risk gamble type planes. Raven's Run from Shadowmoor. We've got Jund from Alara. Izzet Steam Maze from Ravnica. Marasa from Zendikar. Trail of Mage Rings from Vryn. We've got Grove of Dream Pods from Fabisin. You just flip cards from the top of your library until you hit a creature, and then that one goes straight into play. So, really dangerous plane to linger on for too long. We've got a time distortion phenomenon. Minamo from Kamigawa. We've got Pools of Becoming from Bolas's Meditation Realm, which I didn't even know was a thing. We've got Orochi Colony from Kamigawa. The Maelstrom from Alara. Another one where you flip cards from the top of your library until you hit a permanent, and then that just goes straight into play. Truga Jungle from Urgamon. Gives you access to any color from any land. Goes really well with my Progenitus deck. Okay, and then this is the start of cards that we tend not to play with. Again, because they just slow games down and sometimes make it a little less fun. Like, we have the Hippodrome from Segovia. So, yeah, like all creatures get -5, -0. And then when you roll chaos, you can destroy target creature if its power is 0 or less. We have Stairs to Infinity from Xerix. We have the Quicksilver Sea from Mirrodin. Nephalia from Innistrad. We have Morphic Tide, a phenomenon. When you encounter Morphic Tide, each player shuffles all permanents they own into their library, then reveal that many cards from the top of their library. Each player puts all artifact, creature, land, and planeswalker cards revealed this way onto the battlefield. Then does the same for enchantment cards. Then puts all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom of their library in any order. So, yeah, kind of an element of chaos, but I don't know. Not always super fun to have to do that. Hedron Fields of Agadeem from Zendikar. We've got Kessig from Innistrad. Glen Elendra from Lorwyn. Love the way this one looks, though. I really like Lorwyn, it seems. We have the Dark Barony from Ulgrotha. A Koem from Zendikar. Sanctum of Serra from Serra's Realm. Whenever you planeswalk away from Sanctum Serra, destroy all non-land permanents. Yeah. Gavany from Innistrad, Leith Lake from Arcos. At the beginning of your upkeep, you just mill 10 cards. That's pretty rough. Skybreen from Kaldheim. Players play with the top card of their libraries revealed. Spells that share a card type with the top card of a library can't be cast. Why would you do that? We've got a plane-wide disaster phenomenon. Just destroys all creatures. Lair of the Ashen Idol from Asgol. Prov from Ravnica. We've got Mount Coralia from Regatha. The Aeon Fog from Equilor. Players skip their untap steps. The Zephyr Maze from Kyneth. Celestine Reef from Luvion. Creatures without flying or island walk can't attack. The Fourth Sphere from Phyrexia. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a non-black creature. And you can roll Chaos to create a 2/2 zombie. So, not incredibly fair for your non-black players at the table. Mirrored Depths from Karsus. Astral Arena from Kolbahan. Furnace Layer from New Phyrexia. Kinda miserable to have to play against. Sea of Sand from Rabia. Eratopolis from Kefali. Edge of Malakal from Belanon. We have Agarim from Ravnica. Fields of Summer from Moog. Whenever a player casts a spell, that player may gain 2 life or roll Chaos for 10 life. Nice to have, but life gain will probably extend games, which we don't necessarily want. We have Norn's Dominion from New Phyrexia. Onaki Catacomb from Chandalar. All creatures are black and have death touch. And then a personal favorite of mine, even though we don't play it. We have Gold Meadow from Lorwyn. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, that land's controller creates 3/0/1 white goat creature tokens. Roll Chaos. create a 0/1 white goat creature token. So yeah, I just think it's really cute. But yeah, there we go. Thank you for joining me today for a look around my Planechase deck. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm curious to know what your experience with Planechase is. Do you do individual decks for each player? Or do you have one deck for the whole table like me? Have you played it in any other formats other than Commander? I'm really curious to hear. And if you haven't seen Planechase before, I hope maybe you found it intriguing. I think it's a really, really fun way to enhance your EDH games if your playgroup is open to it. But yeah, hope you had a good time here today. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.